Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Manisha Gupta and I am assistant professor at Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology. And now we are going to start our session on business research method. And in today's session we are going to discuss about the descriptive research design, its concept, type, uses and the concept related to your cross sectional and longitudinal research. These will be the table of content. In today's session, we are dealing with the basics of the descriptive research, then the uses of the descriptive research design, what are the features of it, types of it, longitudinal and cross-sectional research design, and in the last we are going to discuss about the questionnaires and schedule. So, let's start our session. Descriptive research design. So, basically the descriptive research design is more rigid than your exploratory research design, because we have discussed in the last session that what is the exploratory research design. Exploratory research design is conducted in those areas where the data is not very much available or you have the very small amount of the data, and by doing the exploratory research it will set the ground for the further research. So, basically descriptive research will happen after your exploratory research, means when you want to increase our study or you want to conduct the further study, then we start the descriptive research. It is more rigid than your exploratory research and seeks to describe the user of the product and determine the portion of the population that use the product. There are the few examples of the descriptive research design, like you want to know about the describe the user of the product, you want to determine the proportion of the population that use that product, or you want to predict the future demand of the product, and you try to describe the happenings of the certain phenomena, like some products are selling very fast, some products are not selling very fast. So, whatever the phenomena is happening, you want to try to understand it, and for that you will conduct the descriptive research. So, these type of the study will be happening in your descriptive research design, and descriptive research involves and also provide the association between two variables, like take an example, income and the shopping place of the shopping, age and preference. Like you want to study on the shopping habit of the people and their difference in relation with the income, their age and their preferences and the places of the shopping. Then the descriptive research require the clear specification of 6W, means in this study you are going to answer the 6 question, means by doing this you will get to understand who has done, what happened, when it happened, where it is going to happen, why is happened, or what are the ways or how it is going to happen. So, by descriptive research design you will able to answer all these questions of the research, and the descriptive research aim at portraying accurately the characteristics of your particular group or situation. You can calculate the characteristics of your particular group and its situation. Next is, when do we use the descriptive research? We use the descriptive research in some of the following. These are the just the example of the situation where we conduct a descriptive research. Take an example like sales analysis study, which describe the sales by their geographical region, their product line, their type and the size of account. Means when you conduct the sales analysis, you get to know where in the what geographical region the sales is going very well, where is sales high, where is it low, what type of the product line in which the sales is good, what of product line the sales is not good, and type and the size of your accounts. Then image study, which determine the customer perception of the firm and its product. You can also get to understand that how the customer is perceiving your company and your product. Then the other studies like product user study and describe the consumer product, means how frequently consumer are purchasing that product, what is their consumption pattern. In like people purchase heavily when they have in the starting of the month, because they have more money. So, what will be their pattern, how much amount they purchase in particular year or month. Then distribution study, which determine the traffic flow pattern and the number of the location of the distribution, means where the product is flowing more, means what geographical area, what city or what location by the distributor. Then also the price study. Price study show you that the range and the frequency of the price change and the probable customer response to the proposed price change, means how the customer is going to consider or propose, or how he is going to understand or respond when the price is going to change. Like if the price is going to change, the customer is going to switch to the some other product or not, or he is susceptible to the how much amount of the change. Then advertisement study, which describe the media consumption habit and the audience profile for the specific like television program, serial or advertisement. So, by these are the some of the example of your descriptive research. Next is your what are the features of your descriptive research design. So, some of the feature is it has the resource concentrate, especially in terms of time and money. The time and money is very limited for the study. You have to design how much money or time, and it is according to the your research method. Next is this study is basically rigid and does not allow many changes, like in your exploratory research that was very flexible and allow many changes, but in your descriptive research design it does not allow many changes, because most of the time the research is conducted by the survey method by using your questionnaire the schedule. So, you did not change your questions in your questionnaire, that is why it is a rigid method and does not allow many changes. The outcome of the descriptive research design only describe the population under the study with respect to the defined variable using the different description and statistical tools. So, in this study is respect to define the variables, that is what will the variables of the study, and they use a different descriptive statistical tools to analyze that data. Next is your type of your descriptive research design. What is the type of descriptive research design? So, basically it is divided in your two parts. One is your cross sectional, second is your longitudinal. The cross sectional study involve the field study and the field survey. These study involve your field study and your field survey. The difference begin with the size and sample. Cross sectional study is carried out at a one particular point of the time, but in the longitudinal study, this is study in which the event and occurrence are measured and noted again and again over the period of the time. This is kind of your repetitive study. It happens one, then again after the some period of time you are going to conduct that study again, and this is also known as your time series study. Although the longitudinal research, the researchers comes to know how the market change over the time, because when you conduct the study with the same set of the population over the different time span, you will get to understand why the market is changing, how the customer is changing. So, it will help to note down the change which may happen over time. Now, we will see in the detail all these studies. First is your cross sectional study. So, cross sectional study is most frequently used, describe, design in the marketing research. This type of study mostly used in your market research, and the cross section design involve the collection of the information from any given sample of the population element only once. In this type of the study, you collect the data only once. You did not collect the data in a time span or in the number of the time. You just collect data only once, and in this you will be conducted the cross sectional study by the two methods. First is your field study, second one is your field survey. So, what we do in the field study? The field study is basically include the depth study, and in the field study involves an in-depth study of the problem, such as reaction of the young men and women wanted towards the product. It means in this step of the study, the researcher recorded the data by himself. He, take an example, he went to the shop and want to know how the people are react to the particular product, like perfumes. They want to know the inclination of how the young men and women respond to that particular type of the perfumes. So, this will be your field study. Then next is the field survey. The large number of the sample is featured in this study, and the biggest limitation of this study is cost and time, because when you collect the large sample, you need time to, first of all you need time to collect large sample, then time to analyze it, interpret. So, it is going to take time. So, they have the limitation of the time and cost. And also, if the respondent is questioned, then he might answer the question in the different manner. It may be the chances that he can answer the question in a different manner. And finally, in the field survey require the good knowledge, like it is beneficial if the researcher has good knowledge in constructing the questionnaire. They have the good knowledge of the sampling technique and use of it, what should be required sample size, what will be suitable sampling technique for him, whatever the question, and he will be good in preparing your questionnaire. And in this you may go for the two instrument, either by questionnaire or by interview in your field survey. Now, in the next we are going to start with the longitudinal study. So, basically what is the longitudinal study? The longitudinal study is also the kind of the survey format, but in the longitudinal study, the fixed sample or the population element are measured repeatedly. Means you have the fixed sample, same set of the people on which you are going to conduct the research or remote respond repeatedly. You will conduct the research repeatedly on him, and in the longitudinal research design differ from your cross sectional design is that sample and the sample remain the same over the time. In your cross sectional study, you will conduct a study one time on the one population, and after some time you are going to conduct the study another study on the different population. But in the longitudinal study, you will carry out the research on same sample or same population over the time, and in other words, the same responses are studied over time, and this is also known as time series. And the longitudinal study involves the panel, and basically there are the two types of the panel. First is your true panel, second is your omnibus panel. What is happening in the true panel? This involves the repeated measurement of the same variables. Means in the true panel you will repeatedly measure the same variables. Means you are conducting the study on the same population and on the same variables. But what happened in the omnibus panel? In the omnibus panel is for the sample population is being selected and maintained, and the information collected from the members varies. Means in the true panel you will giving them the same set of the question, you are asking the question about the same variables, but in the omnibus panel you will change the questions, you will change the information. Every time you collect the different information from the same set of your samples. So, that is the difference between your true panel and omni panel. In the true panel you will ask a question about the same variable, but in the omnibus panel you ask a question about different variables. Now, we are going to study about the questionnaire and schedule. In the descriptive research technique, one of the most important instrument of the data collection is your schedule and questionnaire. People commonly use questionnaire and the schedule interchangeably. Means they think the questionnaire and schedules are the same, but there is some resemblance in the nature, but both are the very different instrument. However, there are the many difference between the two, and while the question is basically filled by the informant himself, but the schedule is filled by the enumerator or the researcher on the behalf of the respondent. So, we will get to understand what is the questionnaire and what is the schedule. The question is basically well defined instrument for the research, which consists of the questions in this study. Basically, question is defined as an instrument for the research, which constitute a list of the questions along with the choices of the answers, printed types in a sequence on a form used for querying the specific information from the respondent. But in today's time, we also use this. Take the example of the printed form, but if you use the Google form for the questionnaire, that is also your kind of collecting the information through Google Forms. That is also example of your questionnaires. And in the sum method, basically in questionnaire you put the questions on it and you give the answer of it, but there are the two type of the questions are put in the questionnaire. One is open ended question and second one is close ended question. In the open ended question, you give them options like 1, 2, 3. Sorry, in close ended question you give them answers. Close ended question, there is a options you are given, like if you are asking about questions about the satisfaction of the respondent, you can rate your response on the basis of 5 parameter. If you are highly satisfied, give the 5 marks. If you are least satisfied, give the 1 mark. So, in this type of the question, you will restrict the response of the respondent, and this type of the question is called your close ended question. But in the questionnaire, you can also ask the open ended question. So, what is basically the open ended question? In the open ended question, like if you ask for the at the end of the questionnaire, you just ask what will be your suggestion so that we can improve your experience. In that situation, you have not given any answer of it, and the respondent give their own answer, and they are not selecting the answers from your choices because you have not given the choices to that question. So, when there is no choices in the question, so that particular type of the question is your open ended questions. So, in the questionnaire, you put the list of the question, you put the choices of the question, and you put the choices of the question, and it may be printed, typed, or it may be in your electronic form like your Google form or the Microsoft form, whatever the browser you can use it. And in general, the question is delivered to the person concerned by, at present time you can send it to the by mail, by WhatsApp, or by any social media platform, or like the old method, you can post your questionnaire, mail it to the respondent and requested them to answer and return it to you. And the informants are expected to read and understand the questions and reply in the space provided to the questionnaire itself. Then what is schedule? Schedule is the performer which contain the list of the questions filled by the researcher, work or the enumerator, and specifically appointed for the purpose of the data collection. And in this method, the respondent or not exactly write the answers. It will be the job of the enumerator who will write the answers on the questions. This is similar to the questionnaire also, because there is a set of the questions, there is a set of the answers, but the difference is that in the questionnaire, respondent is answering the question, but in the schedule, the enumerator is writing the answers. The enumerator to go the informant yani ki respondent, they go to the enumerators, go to the respondent with the schedules and ask them the set of the questions and the sequence and record their reply in the space provided. And there are certain situation where the enumerator also distribute the schedule, but they assist the respondent to answer those questions. This type of the method is used when your when your respondent is not literate. Now, we see the difference between your questionnaire and schedule, and what is the comparison, how both of the things are different. So, basically on the comparison, we start with the meaning. So, what is the meaning of the questionnaire? Questionnaire refers to the technique of the data collection, which consists of the series of the written question along with the alternative answers. So, here what we see, that you have write the series of the questions and you have write the alternative answers of it. But what is happening in the schedule? Schedule is a formalized set of the question statement and the space for the answer, and it provided to the enumerator who asked the question to the respondent, and they enumerator note down the answer of the respondent on a schedule. Basically, the question is filled by your respondent, but schedule is filled by your enumerator. Then the response date is low in your questionnaire, but it is high in your schedule. Then by the questionnaire you can target the large data, means large people can respond to your questionnaire, large number of the people can respond. Suppose if you prepare a questionnaire on the Google format, by just one mail you can send your questionnaire to the thousands of people, and within a days you will get the thousand or the lakhs of the response. But if you talk about the schedules, the one person has a limitation, they cannot collect the number of the data, large amount of the data by himself. So, comparative to the questionnaire, they have the small coverage. Then cost. Your questionnaire method is more economical because you can just email the questionnaire from sitting here in India to the any person around the world. But if you talk about the schedule, then you have to visit that place. So, because of that, it is questionnaire is economical and schedule is your expensive. Then respondent's identity. You don't know the respondent ID, you don't understand the respondent, and respondent is basically in the questionnaire, because you just send the questionnaire to them and they responded, you may not know the respondent in questionnaire, but you know the respondent in schedule because you by himself go there and ask the question to them, so that you understand what the people are thinking or what will be their preferences. So, in this situation, the enumerator know and understand the respondent. Then other is success rely on the quality of the questionnaire. Success relies on whatever the questions we have put in our questionnaire. It will happen in, if the set of the question is good, then response will be good. But when talk about the schedule, then the honesty and the competency of the enumerator is going to count, and his honesty and his competency will lead to the success of your schedule. If he is efficient, he can record the data correctly, but if he is not efficient, then he may not record the data correctly. Then uses, which only when the people are literate and cooperative. We use questionnaire when the people are literate, because for filling the option you have to be literate, you have to understand the language, and they are ready to respond, means they are cooperative. But when we talk about the schedules, they used on both literate and illiterate, means for the illiterate person schedule is only the option, but for the literate person the schedule and questionnaire is both the option. But when the people are not ready to respond, they are literate, but when they are not ready to respond, they are not cooperating, in that situation we are going to use schedule. So, schedule is used when your respondent is not literate, or when your respondent is not ready to cooperate properly. So, this is all for the today. I hope you will be able to understand the difference between your schedule and questionnaire. For this, thank you everyone, and this is all for the day. See you in next session.